Hello everyone, this is Johannes.
And this is Cinema.
And you are watching Board Gaming Ramblings.
And today we are taking a look at our top 10 worker placement games.
Yay, worker placement! The game type where you place a worker to do actions. And there's, the first thing, of course, is what is a worker placement game? What do you categorize a worker placement game?
The worker placement and action selection can sometimes feel similar because you're selecting an action with the worker.
Yeah.
But I feel like for me, I associated with putting a meeple or a disc or whatever onto a space that is designated for that thing.
Yeah.
And for me, blocking is a huge part of how if it feels like a worker placement game or not.
Because on BGG there's a huge part of games that are like worker placement games. For me, if to feel like a worker placement game, it has to be, I need to have more than one worker. So I don't have any, I don't have a Vinhos, I don't have a Kanban, I don't have these games, even though they are, especially Kanban feels maybe the most as a worker placement game.
Pipeline.
Yes, these kind of games don't feel like a worker placement game for me, even though they have a worker placement mechanism. So that is the line for me.
That feels more like an action selection kind of for me. I agree. We made this list before.
Yes.
I checked. We made it in 2019.
That's a long time ago.
And I was surprised by the lack of crossovers
The lack
with
of
myself.
worker placement games.
Yeah. But so a lot of the games on this list didn't exist at the moment.
Okay.
So that's
spoiler alert.
That's gonna be interesting to see.
I am going to say that this was a harder list to make than I thought it was going to be.
Oh yeah, me too.
Because some listeners are like, this is obvious. But here, I'm going to cheat and have some honorable mentions.
Oh, you did that as well.
So welcome to the honorable mentions. How many do you have?
I have 2.
I have 4.
Okay. You can start.
Yes, my honorable mentions are The Great Wall. I really like The Great Wall. Architects of the West Kingdom. Really like it. Really want to play the expansion to that.
That's one of my honorable mentions as well.
Okay.
The reason for it not making the list this time, it made it the last time, is that it's been so long since we played it. So I don't know how it will land.
I remember really enjoying so much of it, but it ended just outside of my top 10. Manhattan Project, Energy Empire is another one which I loved, and I felt a little bit less love for it, but we still have it. We have the expansion, really want to play that, and it just fell out of the top 10. And same with Barrage, or Barrage, I think it's Barrage, but I say Barrage, because I'm cool, and from Norway. Yes, you don't like that, so it's not on your list, but it is a game I really like.
It's a great game, it's just not for me. My last honorable mention, my number 11 on this list, is the White Castle. Because I thought it is absolutely a worker placement game. I love how you block space for others, but in a more than 2-player game you can place on top of it. It's super interesting. I love that game, but it's not my workers. And then it felt out of place in this list.
Because you're drafting it.
You're drafting them. Because, I don't know. I don't know how I feel.
Or else it would have been number 1.
Yes.
So now we are ready to start the actual list with number 10.
Should I start then?
Yes,
I'm
you usually do
doing
that.
My number 10 is crossover if you're counting the honorable mentions.
We don't. Now this is the beginning of the list.
This is the official list. It is The Great Wall. And The Great Wall is a massive game in many aspects. It's a big box.
There's 3 boxes.
Yeah, it's big components, beautiful production, and it blew me away how much I liked it because the worker placement in itself is pretty classical. But I think that it's so interesting how you are then coming together to defend the city. And yeah, it's just a really solid game. And when I made this list, it made me realize how much I would like to play that again.
I would love to play it in 2025. Let's have that as a goal.
Yeah.
Let's play that. That's our one goal for board games next year, to play that one game.
I'm not trusting you. You're usually coming up with a lot more goals than just one.
My number 10 is going to be then Cooper Island, which is a heavy game, and it's so hard to get anything done. You start with these workers, you can upgrade them to be able to take better worker placement spots, but everything you do feel like a fight to get stuff and to build this cool 3D peninsula and build it up, trying to put resource on it. The higher the thing, the better the resources, and you're just trying to get 1 point. That's like when I play this game, like how can I get my next point? And if I get 4 points, I'm so happy. So that is my number 10.
My number 9 is Ultimate Railroads. And this is a game that, when we played the Russian Railroads, when it first came out, I felt it was so good. It was such an amazing worker placement game. And then I kind of destroyed it by doing the same strategy over and over again with just one. And then it felt like a lot for me. It was out of the top 100. And then Ultimate Railroads came and fixed the problems and a lot more stuff. And it's just like, it's very classic.
Yeah.
But it's so good.
And it's also, when you play it with not very AP pro people, it's a very short game. And it escalates so well. My number 9 is a very long game. So great transition there. It's a very long game. That's like my biggest negative of the game.
Yeah.
And it's Shogun no Katana. Shogun no Katana is a fantastic game. I love everything about it except that it takes 4 hours to play with 4 people. So that is my least favorite part about it, but I'm having fun while I do it. You have the worker placement, which is you placing it, but also when you play with these, you have the worker placement, which is you placing them. Great insights. In this game, you're actually placing workers.
Wow.
Now, you're placing them to do actions, but you can also buy these monks, which have special abilities. You try to place them where there's these other people, so you get these bonus abilities. And that is a cool part of the game, but the main thing about this game, of course, is to move things around in your thing where you build a sword. So you're trying to build, you're trying to build the katanas, which are swords, and the shogun's katana as well. So you're trying to build it, and you are moving things up and down, trying to not block yourself with other swords that you're trying to build. So many things to think about. I love it. It's my number 9.
It's so good.
Yes.
The length
is
the
not
problem.
so good.
Yes. My number 8 is when I saw this, like, I was just like, no, that's not a worker placement game, is it? But it is. But it feels so unique. It is Tzolk'in, and
Okay. Yes.
and it is a worker placement game.
I will
but
argue that it's not.
What?
Yes.
No, I wholeheartedly disagree.
Because I had
with
this
that.
on the list.
Yeah?
Okay. I don't think you are mistaking. I did not include it because it does not at all feel like a worker placement.
Okay. Yeah, but
because I'm basically planning for an action later on, and I get the action when I take things back.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
So it doesn't feel like, oh, I'm choosing this action spot.
Yeah.
I'm choosing this action wheel, and then it moves. So it's not a mistake.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's probably so people will disagree or agree on that.
I think this is so fun, this discussion. But
back to the list.
How it feels like a worker placement game to me is that, like, you're spinning the cog wheels one notch, or what do you call it, one step.
Yeah.
And then suddenly new opportunities arises, and you can go further on a cogwheel as well, but then you have to pay for it. And it's interesting because you be like, okay, I have this one worker now, I can place him there, that would be really good, but I really want to do, like, take things, okay. Maybe this shouldn't be on the list.
But it is.
It is.
And it's a great game.
It is.
So,
it's worker placement adjacent.
But I will not say, like, if you're looking for this and looking, I would like to explore worker placement games, I don't think Tzolk'in is a place to start.
No. But, like, not a place to start in general.
No, but saying, like, if you want to explore worker placements.
Yeah.
But it's a fantastic game.
It is.
My next one is going to be Lost Ruins of Arnak. This is a game that I have enjoyed a lot since we played it way back in the days. I feel like it's a long time ago. I think it's quite long ago. It's like 2019, I think. Maybe, yes, it was the end of 19 or the beginning of... It was not end of 19 because it was just after we moved here and we played the pre-production copy, which we just recently actually bought an actual copy of the game. I really enjoyed it. I like the different things in it. I enjoy the combat with the monsters. I enjoy the exploration. I enjoy trying to move on the tracks because who doesn't like moving on tracks? I enjoy that you have to use the cards to move. You try to do the things in the best order as possible. And there is some light deck building in it. And I like that you are getting the cards, like you know you're getting the card, but you're trying to get it as fast as possible. And there's so many things to like, and the expansions adds more. If you want to play it co-op, you can do that. If you don't want to play it co-op because co-op is not fun, you can choose to not do that. But all in all, a great game that really fits on this list.
My number
next.
My number 7. Yeah, is Caverna. And Caverna is a game where you have a number of action spaces to begin with, and every round a new action space reveals itself.
Yes.
And they get better and better, I feel like. And you have a multitude of options that you can build buildings. And there's been a little while since we played it, but I think it's a great game where you get new workers, and you really want to not only be the first to snag that action space, but also try to see what buildings are available and make yourself a strategy out of that. And it's a fun, I think it's a more fun version of Agricola.
Yeah, for me, it's nicer as well. It's not as miserable. My next game is maybe not that well known, but it's still a fantastic game. And that is Crysis. Crysis is a very good game. This is, I remember the year that I feel like it was one year where we played a lot of these older classics that we just hadn't played when they came out. And I was just like blown away by this game. It has a world is ending theme. So it's all about everybody has to pull their weights. Everybody has to do stuff. So it's kind of semi-cooperative, but it's really not. But it's like, if we don't get enough points, you just lose the game.
Yeah.
So you like everybody has to get to this threshold, or else the game is just gonna end. Everybody loses. So, but you're also if somebody plays horribly, the game might end earlier. But you're trying to build these factories, and you're trying to do worker placement in like a classic worker placement. It's like a classic worker placement game, but it's like everything is scarce and everything you want everything. And then you're trying to build these factories, which I think is the most cool part about the game, where you're trying to get input for it and then use the factory, and you upgrade a factory and then you get something out of it, and then hopefully you have another factory that you can put that into and build other things. So you're building this like wheel of resources going around, making into different things, trying to put your workers both in the factories and on the worker placements, but there's special workers, specialty workers, so much things to think about. A highly enjoyable game that I recommend if you have not played it.
My number 6 is Lost Ruins of Arnak. So
cool.
We have ourselves a little crossover.
Crossover time. Boom, it's a crossover dance. Stop.
What I think is cool about Lost Ruins of Arnak is
that it has worker placement.
Yes, it's amazing. Well, I think it's cool that you have this mix between worker placement and deck building. I'm saying deck building because it's a very slow deck builder.
Yeah.
But I think one of the most interesting things about Lost Ruins of Arnak for me is the tension between I really want that worker placement spot, but the other thing that I want to do, I need to do that first.
Yeah.
So then, because you're not placing a worker every single time it's your turn. So that's interesting because then you have like another aspect that you have to manage in addition to don't take my spot.
I agree. Yeah. It's already been on my list. So next up for me is another older game, which is called Lancaster. Lancaster is so good. We have the base box now. I'm pretty sure. I don't remember. I think I backed like a new reprint of the big box from Queen, so we can play it with some expansions. Not that it's needed because the game is super good as it is, but it is one of my favorite games, so I would be happy to have everything for it. It is very old school, very pure. It is a worker placement game, but also a bidding game. So you are bidding with your worker that's saying, I want to do this action and I'm willing to pay this worker that's worth 1 to do it. And then somebody else is going to be like, yes, but I want to do it and I'm willing to pay 3. And then you get your dude back and you have to use that for something else. And then when everybody has placed everything, you're going to go through all of the actions. Some of it is just building things in your castle so you get more stuff. It's battling different other nations. He's trying to be the first player, of course, trying to score victory points, set collection, all of these different things. And then you're voting on new things that come into the game that changes the rules and changes the scoring. And it is a superb game that I, again, highly recommend. Like every game on this list, basically. It is so much fun.
Lancaster is an amazing game. It's not on the list
Boo!
because that's where the blocking comes in. Because I'm taking this action space, but it's not mine. You can come and do stuff to it, and then I have to choose another action. So yeah, I agree that it's worker placement, but it is a mix of these mechanism.
But Tzolk'in, where you also block a lot of
but I've already said that you are right.
No, I'm not right. We just have different opinions.
My number 5 is A Feast for Odin.
Okay.
And this is a worker placement game with... Yeah, you were stressed out that it wasn't going to be on my list. Yes. But it is like... it is a really good worker placement game, and it's a worker placement game with a gazillion worker placement spaces. But that's a lot.
It is.
And you start your game with a lot of negative points, and you basically want to get the right resources to not get negative points.
Yes.
Probably get some positive ones. And you all get new workers and in the same pace. Is a lot of worker placement games, I feel like you have to actively get new workers for yourself. But in this game, you're escalating, you get to do more and more stuff, but everybody gets to do that. And you have to feed them as well.
Yes. My next one is going to be then another game, and it's called A Crossover. The game is not called A Crossover, I have not played that. But this is Ultimate Railroads. Crossover then! Ultimate Railroads basically took everything for Russian Railroads and all the expansions, put it in with a new expansion we haven't played yet, but we have played the German Railroads and the American Railroads. German Railroads fixes the problem of the one route to rule them all, and it is now a truly fantastic game. As I said, it feels so classic. It feels like everything is as it should be. Like it's a classic Euro game, a classic worker placement. No like boom, twists and turns, but just does the pure thing in a very well way, and I love it.
My number 4
yes
is Cooper Island. We have ourselves another crossover.
Boom, double crossover. Boom,
I was thinking there were going to be a lot of crossovers on this list.
Yes, but there's still more games.
Yeah,
so there might
we think it's fun to not know each other's list and make them separately. So, and we have some similar tastes. So
and also different sometimes. For example, Tzolk'in.
For example,
no, I'm
just gonna say a word about Cooper Island.
One word.
Oh, I limited myself too much. I can't distill it to one word. Well, amazing. But what I think is cool, like, as you said, there's so many other things that's amazing about Cooper Island. The worker placement bit might not be like the heart of the game, but you have so few workers. This is, sometimes you have worker placement games where you have a lot of workers, you do a lot of stuff. Here you have like 2 in the beginning, and then you are working your butt off to get 1 more. And you can get like a regular or a special worker. The cool thing about the special worker is
they're special.
That they're special. Well, you unlock new action spaces because you have like suddenly, well, not only are their actions better, but you have like a different space. So you have like a VIP space that nobody else can go to unless they get special workers as well. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
My number 4 is going to be a crossover. It's going to be Caverna.
Cool.
Crossover forward.
Oh.
Boom. Backwards. Crossing.
Out of the frame.
Oh, you don't know what's out there. It could be anything. It's board games. And number 4, Caverna. I remember the last time we played it, which you said it's a long time ago. It's very much more recently than most other games on this list.
Oh, that's true. Everything's a long time ago.
But it is just like a pleasant game. Everything in it is fun. You are building out both your outdoors farming, but you're also building your indoors, getting rooms for your people to live in, upgrading, they get different special abilities, you can mine for diamonds. It's just like so many cool things in this game. Another one that's like feels very classic, very pure. It doesn't have all these twists and turns, but it's just like a fantastic game.
Yeah.
I love it. Number 4. 3 more games to go. Top 3.
My number 3 is Crisis. So it's another crossover.
Crossover. Boom. Cross. Bang. Boom. Cross up. We didn't do up.
Oh.
And down.
Down.
It's not a cross when we don't cross over.
Oh,
but
that's true. Cross.
Cross. Boom. Have you anything to say about Crysis?
Yeah, Crysis. I agree about what you said. I think like maybe I'm wrong about this, but I remember that Crysis also had like a programming thing that you put your worker there, but you don't resolve it immediately.
I think
you resolve
correct.
it in order.
I think
and that also makes it really tense because you're like, okay, I'm putting it there. I'm hoping that I can then put the other place because this is the most important for me, but I'm resolving that later than I do the other thing, and I really need that, the resource to do the thing first. Yeah, it's really cool.
My number 3 is going to be Bruxelles 1893. It is, and like Belle Epoque, like it doesn't matter if it's the old or the new, I like them both the same. The expansion of the new one is good, but it's not like it was needed to fix the game. But now it's available again, so you can get the game, which you should. This is a fantastic worker placement game where you are placing workers, you are bidding with that worker to try to win different roles to get bonus cards. You're trying to place it there so that you will have the most majority of the 4 spaces around it, and you're also trying to actually do the actions, getting artwork, building up your building, doing all of these things. But the worker placement here, this is one of the games where the worker placement game is almost as interesting as the rest of the game, and I love it.
Yeah.
Do you have a number 2?
I do. My number 2 is Federation. And this is a newer game. I think it came out last year.
It might have been 20. I don't remember.
I don't
Years
remember.
are going fast.
But it was like the best. So it was the year before.
Okay.
It's the best game. No, it's number 2.
Yes.
But, in worker placement genre, you have so many reasons to place a worker where you're placing it, but this game just takes it to the next level. As in Bruxelles, you're not only thinking about what the action you want to do is right now, but you're also thinking, okay, I'm placing it in this row or column, and that means something.
Yeah.
And you're also placing it in like this area of the board, and that will depend, like,
what happens?
Yes. Determine.
Yes.
The scoring for the end of the game or the end of the round, and I'm really looking forward to doing expansion. And it's just like so much fun and crunchy thinkiness.
I love it, and it's my number 2 as well.
Cool.
So a perfect crossover.
Boom.
Perfect crossover. Sha-la-la-la, we're crossing, perfect crossover.
Oh, it's windshields.
Sha-la-la-la-la, cross. Okay, number 2, that means we're down to one more game.
Yeah.
One more game.
I know what you're going to be.
Yes, but you do yours as well.
You know what mine is going to be.
But you can say it to the other people. It's not like we stopped the video here.
Secret now.
Yes, nobody gets to know it.
My number 1.
To know number 1, you have to subscribe.
We're waiting for
you. We're waiting. Oh, you did it because it was so quick and easy. It didn't cost you any money. So now we get to do number 1.
My number 1 is a crossover. You already talked about it. It was your number 3. Is Bruxelles 1893. Crossing.
Boom.
Yes.
Boom.
And I don't know what I like more, the Federation or Bruxelles, but Bruxelles was like the first one.
Yes.
So it holds a special place in my heart, and it just blew me away in terms of what a worker placement game could be.
Yes.
And it's just amazing.
My number 1 is A Feast for Odin because it's the best game ever made, so it couldn't be any other game that was on top of this list.
Of course. I was disappointed that this wasn't your number star.
Yes, from the last list.
Yes.
So that is going to be the end of this list. Thank you so much for watching and for subscribing. I'm Johannes.
I'm Sunniva.
And you've been watching Board Gaming Ramblings, and bye-bye.